Hello and welcome back to Courageously Living. I am Tara and you are watching your weekly energy forecast. And we are looking at Monday the 19th through Sunday, May 25th. And it's still going to be really squirrely. This past week was definitely squirrely. I'm sure people kind of felt pulled in all different directions and really kind of going backward instead of forward and kind of progress and kind of not. So it was an intense week. We're going into an intense week this week. So hang on to your hats. One thing that I will say is that Lee Harris actually had a really good item that he talked about in his monthly energy update for May, and I have used it so many times this month. And he said we are going 2.5 steps forward and 2 steps back almost every day in May. So hopefully that will help eliminate some of the frustration you're feeling of not moving forward, of not getting stuff accomplished, because that's really helped me this month, really kind of keeping reminding myself of that. That said, the other big piece that we are rapidly moving toward is Saturn is getting ready to move into Aries from Pisces. And whenever a planet moves in that last degree, they want to get as much kind of bang for their buck as possible. And they're going to try to force everything that didn't get done while they were in that sign in this last degree. Saturn is about structures, boundaries, time. And in Pisces, Saturn wants all this stuff, and Pisces is like, go with the flow, go with the flow. And dissolving of those structures that are no longer serving us. Maybe it is structures in your job that you're just like, you know what, I'm kind of done with. Maybe it's structures in your family life, or relationships that you're starting to kind of question, is this something that I want to move forward with? And with Pisces, it's ruled by Neptune, so it's cloudy, it's foggy, we're not 100% sure. That's okay to be in that state. We are moving, when Saturn moves into Aries, we're going to get more clarity and we're going to get more forward movement. But it is going to almost be conjunct with Neptune. A lot of astrologers are actually talking about when that actual exact conjunction is, but it's definitely within influence or orb, I want to say. So even though we're moving forward, there are going to be those cloudy moments and those moments of doubt of, well, but I know what I have right here. I know this job right here. What happens if I look at something different? That's going to change the dynamics. It's going to change my life. Same way with a relationship. This is the relationship I know that I have. I know that I'm not thrilled with it. But I know that if I leave it, it's going to change the dynamics. It's going to change my life. Those are big, big changes. I will remind you all that this is a 9-year numerology without any of all the other astrology planet stuff. And it's about endings and changes and letting things go that no longer are in our highest and best good. And that's hard, that's scary, especially when that has been your identity, when that has been your belief system. So please, please be gentle with yourself. There is a lot of changes, and there's going to be a lot of changes in these next several months. I don't think any of us are going to be the same people we were, even by the fall of this year. There's too many things in upheaval, too many things changing, both in our personal lives, in our communities, and certainly playing out collectively on the world stage. I know I'm also undergoing like changes and things that, I was attached to before. I'm not. I'm shifting relationships. I'm shifting things in my own personal life. And those are sometimes hard. So allow yourself that kind of that grief process too of things ending, things that you had that are going to be different, that are already different. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself that extra self-hug, And because we still have such squirrely energy, I thought I would pull cards today from the Break the Rules Tarot deck again. I know people really like this deck. And again, I pulled out the majors. I pulled out a few of the minors. This deck also has more majors than a traditional tarot deck. Again, because it's breaking the rules tarot. And it's a great metaphor of where we are now. What is breaking in our lives that is ready to be released? And sometimes we can only do that when things crumble, as hard as that is. Sometimes we get too comfortable in I know what I have right here. And something comes along and upsets it and smashes it into smithereens. And you're like, oh, I can't go back there. That option, that relationship, that job isn't going to be where it's just gone. So, with that, there is also, when there is endings, there is new beginnings. So that is also where you want to focus some energy. 100%, whatever you are dealing with, what is leaving your life, what is changing, what is shifting, honor those feelings. And start to kind of play into what the new is. So the vibe for this week, this squirrely energy week, let's see what we get for us. The Lovers. The Lovers card is all about choices. It's not necessarily a partnership, but it can be. And it also can be a business partnership. It can be a romantic partnership. It can be friendship. It's about reevaluating what you want from here, not what you think you want from here. That's the vibe of the week, saying where you have all these options, it's okay to start evaluating them, figuring out what is coming from here for you. That is our vibe of the overall week, which especially with Saturn moving into Aries, oh my gosh, 100% true. Oh, and 7 of Cups is on the bottom, and because this is Break the Rules Tarot, it's a side card. I don't usually do the cards that are on the bottom, but 7 of Cups, one of the meanings of 7 of Cups is about choices, all these different options. Which one are you choosing? Okay, so the 19th and 20th is an Aquarius moon. Aquarius is chatty. It's an air moon. But it's also about figuring out what that structure is versus figuring out where you want to flow free. One of my favorite examples that I gave somebody is she loved hydrangeas. And I said, their perfect Aquarius is, you're going to say, yes, I've always had hydrangeas. I'm going to get them. And I'm going to get the most random color hydrangeas possible. That's the creativity part coming out. So it's the blending of structure and freedom with Aquarius. So the 19th and 20th, your card, and I will just cover that just to make sure, is the Star. The best possible outcomes, the hope, the faith, the love of yourself, of humanity, of every living being. And what's interesting with this card is this looks like a pretty traditional tarot deck, except if we look up there in the corner, we have a spaceship. What are you creating that is so beyond what we normally think of? That is what the Star is asking you to do Monday and Tuesday of this week. Start to think about what your life looks like after some of this stuff has crumbled. Then we move into a Pisces moon, a water moon. Pisces traditional ruler is Jupiter. More. It doesn't really care what more you get. More chaos? Sure. More love and best of humanity? Sure. It doesn't care. It just wants you to dream big. Dream big. Oh, and 2 cards came out for this one. And this is the 21st and 22nd. So our traditional card is the Hierophant. What traditions, are you ready to create magic with? One of the cards that is in this deck that is not in a traditional deck. The Hierophant can also be about your own spiritual teacher. You are your best spiritual teacher. All of us who are on here or are doing other things in the spiritual community, we're here to help guide, but ultimately, it is about you and what magic you are creating in your life. That is what it is asking you to do. For Jupiter, for creating big, for living really, truly from your heart, instead of what your mind is saying is like, oh, but I can't do that because I might upset somebody. Oh, I can't do that because that's going to upset this person. I really have to take a back seat because I just don't know. And trust me, I have lived there a long time, especially as a Libra. Pleasing everyone was definitely one of my overworked muscles. It's about changing that story now. And Friday and Saturday, the moon is moving into Aries. I love this card in this deck. This is the 9 of Swords. And if you guys are familiar with the traditional tarot decks, it usually is, all these swords are around this person and they're, head down, exhausted, stressed out. Everything awful is coming at them in the 9 of Swords. Anxiety. In this deck, what I love about this is it says, yep, we got all this stuff around you, and I'm still being centered and grounded. Even with all of the chaos that is happening in your personal life, at work, in the collective, What is your practice that you are doing to make yourself feel safe, to make yourself be able to navigate all the craziness that is happening around you? We've talked a lot about this on the channel. If you can meditate, that's great. If you can't, that's okay too. Go for a walk in nature. Watch a nature video if getting out is an issue for you. Pet an animal. Pet your dog, pet your cat. I don't know if you can really pet your fish, but pay attention to your fish if that's what you've got. Whatever it is that's going to help you become in your center. Play soothing music, calming music, lullabies, podcasts that are calming. There's so many options on how you can stay centered, you can stay grounded, still acknowledging that all the chaos is happening around you. He's not saying it doesn't happen, but he also just like, chilling out. I think the phrase was peace out, dude, because he's a hippie. But again, that energy of how you're navigating it, because the more you can do this, however that looks for you, the easier it is going to be to ride these massive waves that kind of keep crashing into the shore. I also just recently on one of my lives talked about the surfer metaphor of the surfers, they go out and wait for that perfect wave and they're going to grab it because they know another one is coming. They're not going to be like, well, I shouldn't take this wave because what if no other wave comes? No, they're like, I'm going to ride this one. This one looks great. And then they go back out and they come back and do it again. And it's a different wave. That's where it's really important that we try to stay in that kind of mindset focus of there's always going to be additional waves. There's going to be times that the surfers are out and a storm comes up and they've got to get back in. And they're riding that really bumpy wave back in. And then there's times it's gorgeous and sunny and they catch the perfect wave. We so often, and I've certainly done this myself, is we're like, oh, I don't want to catch that wave because somebody else just wiped out back there and I feel really bad for them. So why would I take this beautiful wave when I feel so bad for what they're going through? We limit our happiness. We limit our joy by missing those waves that are in front of us because someone else is going through something hard. That doesn't mean we don't have compassion for them. Oh my gosh, we have so much compassion and so much love and healing. And we're still allowed to ride that wave for our own self. Another way to think of it is the surfer is out there and they're literally the only person out there. And they watch wave after beautiful wave go by because they know that one of their surfer buddies would have really, really wanted that wave. They would have wanted that wave. Even though they were literally the only ones out there. We do, and when we think about it in that analogy, we think about how silly that is. And yet we do it all the time in our own lives. We watch that beautiful wave go by, that wave of abundance, that wave of friendship, that wave of a relationship, or that wave of just even being happy for an hour because somebody else wasn't there to take that wave. Think about that. Think about that as we are having all of these structures break down in our personal and our collective lives. There are infinite waves that are here for all of us. And yes, there are hard things that are going on in my life right now that I am working on trying to get back into that wave set. But you know what? I'm still doing it. I'm still going out there and saying, yes, I am ready for this next wave. Even if it's just a little wave, it's better than me standing at the shore and saying, well, there's some beautiful waves out there, but I don't deserve them. I know this went really deep this week, but the energy is really, really deep. And I really hope that as you're watching this, you really kind of feel that it's okay to have those moments of joy, and it's okay to have those moments of dreaming kind of this amazing, cool magic into your life, as well as to having your choices and acknowledging things that are breaking down in your life. And those are hard. I'm not discounting that in any way. In fact, I'm saying it's going to probably even be harder than we expect right now. It's about being able to ebb and flow. That is what I have for you this week. Oh no, wait, I have to do the 25th. I forgot. I thought the 25th was still an Aries moon, but it is. The 25th is when Saturn moves into Aries, but it is actually a Taurus moon. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, love, money, enoughness, values. All those things are going to be coming up for you big time on the 25th. Because we have justice. What a perfect card for the 25th. Where are you creating? Did I put that upside down? No, I didn't. Where are you seeking justice in your life? And it could be, just something really easy of kind of rebalancing, a room in your house. You're like, you know what? This energy just kind of feels weird. I'm going to move the chair over here. It doesn't have to be a big piece of justice. That said, it might be. It might be that you're in a relationship that the scales are so out of balance that you're like, you know what? This is not who I am anymore. I'm going to start to dream. I mean, you got all these cards can be used for dreaming of what I want instead. It doesn't mean you end the relationship this week. Maybe it does. But it means you start thinking about it, processing it, allowing a different timeline to kind of take shape. We have infinite timelines. I take this job or that job is going to send you on 2 different paths. I'm going to be in this relationship or I'm going to go on my own. It's going to take you on 2 different timelines. I want a baby, I don't want a baby. 2 totally different timelines. Start thinking of the possibilities for both. Maybe it's about travel. Even if it's, let's say it's going to the, 100 miles outside of your town. You have a choice. Do you go? Do you not? That experience changes the timeline for you, or the not going changes the timeline for you. What are you doing for justice, for yourself? For yourself. And we're also going to watch this play out collectively, 100%. But you know, I really try to keep focus on us as individuals, because we are part of the collective, and so everything the collective is going through, we individually are going through, and what we individually are going through, the collective is going through. This was a longer one today. This was a pretty in-depth reading, intense. Make sure you're giving yourself a self-hug. Self-hug. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's really, really important as we're navigating these times. And if it's too much, turn off the news. If it's too much, I love some of the readers on here. You guys know I do. I promote them a lot. Our other spiritualists, sometimes that's still too much. I might be too much for you on different weeks, and that's okay. Do what resonates with you in your heart. Because if you're still watching this, this is obviously resonating with you right now. And as we move through this week and into the next weeks, always be checking in with your heart. Are you ready to absorb the information instead of just kind of scrolling through? And I scroll through all the time too. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, I'm going to put my phone down and just sit and be. And that's hard. Our phones are designed to keep us attached to them. But I always get better insights when I do that. All right. That is all I have for you. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye for now.